all that. All right, y'all. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started now. So today I'm going to be going over the KWLS 2.0. And the 2.0 part of this, I've not done a class on this before. I've touched on it because this is what the consumer app feeds off of when you're looking on it. That's where it's pulling all these listings from. So on the desktop version, you'll see when I get in there, it's not built out fully yet. So I'm going to be showing you kind of what you can do today as of now in there just to get familiar with it. It's going to be like KW's own basically MLS. And what's going to come next is you're going to be able to create and edit manual listings. Right now, it just pulls them in from all the MLS boards. Now, questions associated with that. If I create a listing on the KWLS, does that go to the MLS? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have answers to some of these things just yet, but I wanted to show y'all what you can do as of today. And then on a more practical level, on a built-out version, go onto the consumer app again and just kind of play around and show y'all some of the things on there, okay? So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. As always, feel free to unmute yourself, ask any questions, interrupt me as we're going. And today should be pretty short and sweet just for your time. So you can expect that, and we'll just get rolling here, okay? So as always, we're going to agent.kw.com up here in the search bar, and there's this console, but same deal. And the only applet, the last applet that we have not touched together, I believe, oh, nope, there's one more, Insights. I'll be doing listings today, Insights on Tuesday. We're gonna be going down to the listing applet here. It's on the ones that we can click on, it's the third from the bottom. So you see this listings one looks like a yard sign out in the yard. We click on there. I have been getting this black refresh thing for about 10 seconds. Every time I log in, your computer's not broken, it's not frozen. Just let it think through its deal. There we go. Okay. So you can see here at the top of the screen, it says Listing Sneak Peek. You are now in the Listing Panel tab. Search across the US and parts of Canada. Coming soon, you'll be able to create and edit listings. Now, if you're a single agent or you're on a team and you're the head honcho on the team, all the listings run through you, you're going to see your listings in here that you've made, more than likely, through your opportunities and things like that, ones that are associated with you. For me, because I'm on a team, the listings don't run through my name primarily. They run through our team leads as the primary agent. So that's why I don't have any listings associated here, but you would if you have some in there, presumably. What we're going to look at, though, is the listing search up here. This is where we're going to spend our time today for the desktop version. I'll minimize some of these features real quick. Resume. All right. So as you can see here, we went to the listing search tab, and this is just kind of where I was searching around in Denton yesterday. This is where this map is. So anyway, I just want to take you all through and kind of show you what data we can see, how we can search, and then we'll go into the consumer app as well. So if you wanted to search for specific property address, you could do that. You could also search by MLS number if you wanted to look at that in here. And you could also look at it by the KWLS ID for it being in the KWLS. You can search within map right here. So when you zoom in and out using the plus and minus signs right here. So when we do that, our results get bigger and bigger up here at the top left. So we've got 342 results in there. For the filters here up on the top right, you can click on that. I'm going to clear all the filters first so that we can see everything. So there's 4,800 properties just in this area, or possible properties. So when you click on that filter, this is how you would do an MLS search if you're setting up a client on it. So you can put in your minimum beds and baths. So say we need a minimum of 2 and a max of 5. We need at least 1 to 3 max bath. Oh, we'll actually do that on the full baths, not total baths. We'll do 2. And then price range, let's say we were going to look everywhere between 300 and 400. We want no more than 2 living areas, and we'd like a lot size of at least 1/5 of an acre, no more than 1/2 of an acre. And we'll start the year built in 1995, and we'll go up to brand new houses. On the location right here, you can see. Now, because this is for worldwide, this is for all KW associates, you're going to have to pick your country, being the United States. You would search in Texas, of course. And then if you had a street address, you could do that. Listing classification in here. So that could be any of the different statuses that these properties or listings could be involved in. Let's say we just wanted to look at actives. And then you could also search right here by a city as well. So let's say I wanted to look in, we'll say Louisville. All right. So let's say we were happy with everything in here. We looked at the listing owner. You could look by certain market centers as well. I think this just pulls in on a geographic level. I'm not 100% sure where it's pulling in. Oh, see, we are definitely in something that is not fully built out yet. See, it just kind of refreshed my whole page. So let's see. Okay, so we just lost our filters right here. That's okay, I'll redo it. But just letting you know, see, it's not broken. It's happened sometimes. So let's say, let's do just a few of these real quick again. And then we'll do this in Louisville. All right, so if we were happy with all that, we could click apply filters up here on the top right. So I chose everything as I scrolled down, but then on the top right, there's that teal apply filters. And when we do that, okay, we've got no listings in that area. Let's see. Like I said, work in progress on this. So let me turn off these filters. Let's see what we get. So let's say we just did a price filter, max 500,000. Okay, well, it's deciding to be a little difficult right now. Let's see, if we ordered instead by geolocation, we could also order by low to high on the prices as well. But as to why I see the filters are not applying right now, this is not fully built out just yet. But like I said, when this is completely built out, you'll be able to search on this just like on the MLS. You'll be able to create and edit your listings as well in here. And one of the reasons that'll be beneficial to y'all of the creating and editing listings in here is I believe you will have the control over switching the stage, because I've known some agents have had issues with connecting a listing to their offer to then connect to their commission. Sometimes it won't let them. Kevin Kelly asks, am I crazy or is there a way you can search by rental properties? Yes, you certainly can, Kevin, and I'm going to show you that on the mobile app. That is not an ability to do in here on the desktop version, but I will show you how to do that because that's actually how I just closed my most recent renters. I had them as my server at BJ's Brewhouse out in Denton and talked to them about my mobile app. They downloaded it. We ended up getting them a house in Denton, her and her boyfriend, all by using the mobile app. That's how they found the properties, and we went and did our showings from there. So definitely a possibility that I will show you here in a moment. So like I said, y'all, this is not, like I said, completely built out just yet, but it will be. One of the cool features also is you can kind of see, this is just in Denton right now, but you can just hover over the different zip codes as well. If you're just wanting to learn, we'll say for y'all in Richardson. If you were newer to the area, maybe you don't know all the zip codes and you just want to figure some of that out, maybe make a little map for yourself, maybe for your office. I've done that before where I just have a little zip code map. Just so I can look easily, at a board or something that I've got printed out. So anyway, that is a cool feature in here as well. And now, like I said, I'll go into the consumer app now to really show y'all kind of the searchability and features that way, because that actually does work fully as of this moment, as of, I think it was Family Reunion when that was released for us as agents. So let me switch over real quick here to my, asking me to install something real quick. One moment, so I can share my phone with you. There we go. All right, y'all. So does everybody see my screen right here? Kyle, can I get a thumbs up? Madeline, good to go? Okay, perfect. So here I'm in our KW mobile app. So again, this is right here at the top of the screen in the middle, the white app with the red lettering, with the red KW in it. That's what we're looking at. And in here, I'm just going off of my geographic location up here on the top right, that little arrow that goes blue when I click it. That means if I'm looking way over here in Hebron or Frisco or McKinney, I can click that. It'll take me right back to exactly where I am, just like on Google Maps or Apple Maps. And in here, I'll just show you a little bit. We've talked about this before, but you see these listings over here, the 400, the 580, the 395 at the top with the little green calendars on them. You'll see what I'm talking about there. These properties are ones that have open houses associated with them and already in the MLS, therefore it pulls over. So I just want y'all to start learning and start playing in the KW consumer app, because more than likely the kind of icons and the things that you see in here are going to be closely associated with how these things are going to look in the KWLS once that is built out for command on the desktop version. So I'd recommend, that's really the reason here, the why of why y'all should be playing around in that consumer app, because this will tie in with the KWLS once that is out, okay? So on this one, we can see that little green calendar. And when I click on that, you can see on the bottom right of my screen, the little same green calendar, and it says open Sunday the 7th from 2 to 4 p.m. And then it says as well there in the middle under, when I pull up, the kind of middle right here above the save button and under the property address, you can see that as well. So that's just one way for y'all to know kind of the different things here in the app for a visual perspective. On every single listing, no matter what, no matter who the listing agent is, this one is a, it said at the bottom here, I clicked on it, whoever the, see, this is from the Austin Board of Realtors. Okay, well, anyway, this is a different listing agent. Let's see. See at the very bottom of my screen on the left, courtesy of Remax Cross Country. So even if it's any listing for anybody, it'll always pull up a Keller mortgage ad right here and a Keller covered ad for home insurance. That's going to be on every listing, so that every turn the consumer is driven back to the Keller cloud, driven back to you as the agent. What does this mean for me? Even if they don't use it, it at least reinforces your value as a Keller Williams agent to them, to show you what you can offer. Doesn't mean they have to take it, but what you can offer that other competitors may not be able to. So that was just one thing I wanted to show y'all. As you can see on that as well, you've got the heart over here on the right side. If you see that, before I pull up on the right side, I can click that and I can choose which collection I want to save it to. I've only got one collection right now, being Clark's favorites, but I can save that in there. And then at any given moment, I will always see that red heart on there every time I'm looking at that specific property on the map. So you can keep a constant track of what you're doing, even if it's just in an area. And on the bottom right of my screen, you see saved. When I click on that, I can then go in here and actually see my favorites. So, and it doesn't matter where they are. I could have just Clark's favorites. If I wanted to create a new collection, let's see if I go view all, bottom of the screen, new collection, I could maybe create Clark's Denton favorites, Clark's Carrollton favorites, and add these things in there so that then I have a list that my agent on the consumer side can be seeing all these things as well. But even for myself, just like for Clark as a person, for me, when I come up and I end this lease that I'm finishing up here, leading up to my wedding and marriage here at the end of the year, I'm going to be using this app myself. Yes, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it. I'm going to be using this app, and I already have been, for my own self, looking at rentals, looking at purchases, just because this app is so fun for me, because I'm using our app that is actually awesome and kick-ass, pardon the French, that I really like and appreciate as a young person, because this technology speaks to me. And I'm not saying that because I'm in a tech position or I'm in leadership. I'm saying that as Clark, I really enjoy this app. So anyway, that's just one of the things in here. You can also see here, it's really cool in the kind of blue with the little hovers, at the top, Whispering Hill Plantation, under that, Hunterwood, Bethel, Windsong. These are all neighborhoods, subdivisions that are all just hovering to kind of give you an idea. And I think that's a newer feature, because I haven't noticed that lately. Maybe I just missed it, but you can see in there kind of when you're hovering over these certain Wind Page Estates, Red Hawk, when you're hovering over these certain communities, you can even click on them and see a market snapshot of that same subdivision now, okay? You can see the average days on market. Now see, that average home price is crazy. So that may be completely accurate. It may not be. They may, yeah, see their average sales price is almost 1.2 mil because they've got a 1.2 and a 729 right there in that neighborhood. So granted, take that with a grain of salt. Doesn't mean every property in that area is going to be selling for that. So deduct as you will. But you can see even these little outlines like from the Nextdoor app. That's where this data is pulled from for these subdivisions, for the zip codes, all that type of stuff. So anyway, just some really cool, interesting information. And then up here also at the top of the screen for the search function, this is what I'd like for y'all to really play in, just for your own benefit. If you haven't yet, just spend 30 minutes on it, honestly, at the most in a day. You'd be fine. You're going to get it, and it's going to be real fluid and easy because you want to actually be knowledgeable when you're talking to a client about it. You don't want to be fumbling this thing, trying to figure out which app it was, or you pull it up and then you don't know how to do what you're trying to show them to show the value. You want to make sure you're fluent in the language of this app. So up at the top of the screen, you can choose your price. It's just a sliding scale. So let's say I wanted houses between 200 and 350. Let's say I had a wide budget for some reason. And we're, oh, okay. I guess 350, there we go. And let's say I wanted 2+ beds. I wanted a house, but I was okay. Now we'll just leave it as house actually. And then on the more, you can go way in detail. Now, Kevin, to answer your question earlier about renting versus buying, you see right here on listing type in the middle of my screen above bathrooms, it says for sale. I could click on that, toggle that for sale right under the word for sale. I click that and then an option comes up for sale or for rent. So then I can click on for rent and that's the listing type now. That's the toggled on function, okay? Now I'll show you how to do that in a minute on a searchable function. We'll leave it as active listings as well. We'll hit done, and then we'll just let it kind of pull up those different properties for us. So let's see, sorry, I gotta go to so 10+ results right here. So you can click on the results, and you can even zoom out as we go on from there and see all that different stuff as well. On the top right of my screen, you can click save or draw. So if you want to look in a specific area, bam, there's all the properties within my little search, just like on the MLS that you can do. So that's really helpful for a consumer as well. If they're, especially your out-of-state people that are just trying to get an idea of, the Metroplex, if they're zoomed out here, they're like, okay, Dallas, Fort Worth, I don't know anything other than this. They could come in here and go, okay, can I afford anything right here? And it'll tell you, oh, nope, not even in our budget, not even close. Okay, let me come over here then. Maybe I've heard good things about Garland. Maybe Garland will work, and then they come in and they draw this. Oh, okay, it's, as I teach, it's spazzing out on me. But you get what I'm saying, even from an out-of-town client perspective. Like I said, I think I told you on a previous class, I got a guy pre-qualified driving back on Memorial Day with his wife. She did it in 15 minutes on his phone while he was driving back from a 2-hour vacation away at the beach. So he was pre-approved on a holiday. The lender emailed him multiple times that evening, including myself. This was all like 7, 8 o'clock on a holiday, evening. It was just awesome story and success story there. So anyway, that's really kind of the main stuff I wanted to show you all about the KWLS today. To go back, Kevin, to your question real quick, I'm going to clear out this drawn area real fast. So if you were wanting to come in here and let's see, I'm going to clear all these filters real quick. So let's say we were just going to search primarily, I'm going to go by my location back here in Coppell as well. So Kevin, Kelly, this is really for you here. Whenever I want to search and I want to turn on the for rent feature, so when you're talking to consumers as well, under the little blue arrow you see on the top right of my screen where it says more, just like I said last time, we're going to scroll down here. We're going to toggle off for sale. We're going to toggle on for rent. I'm going to hit done. And now all those properties that were right here that were all for sale are now only for rent. So you can get a real good idea. Okay, 2,000, what are we talking about though? It's actually $1,550 a month. So it'll actually round up for you. Instead of saying 1,000 a month for something that's 1,500, it's showing you 2. So it at least kind of gives that little expectation boost there of overshooting instead of undershooting. But so you can get a real good idea just based on the same stuff we talked about. You can see the subdivisions are also hovering over that as well. So if you wanted to live in Mango or Bethel, you can look at these things as well, and get an idea of that. So Kevin, I hope that answers your question in terms of rentals and all that type of stuff. But anyway, y'all, that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of what I've got for you today. I just wanted y'all to really get into that, kind of start playing with the consumer app if you have not yet. And again, the why on that is that we want y'all to be proficient enough when listings is fully built out on the listings app. We want y'all to be proficient in all of that so that you can create and edit your own listings, because it's probably going to look very similar to what that consumer app is. There's going to be updates just like Facebook or any app that you know of over the years. Things are going to update, look a little different, as you can, if you've used Command for about 6 months or a year, some things look different than they did at the very beginning. So just be okay with the change, lean into it. As always, I'm here for y'all. Let me know if you have any questions, technology related. Happy to help y'all out in any way that I can. Do we have any questions or any pointers? If y'all use the consumer app, had any successes with it?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
So if we've given out our app and a client favorites something, can we see it on the desktop now?
Yes, you can. That is going to be in the database. So here, let me show you. That's a great question, Madeline. So let me share my screen again with y'all for the desktop version. So up here, I'm going to go back to the home screen. On contacts right here, okay? When I click on that, and I'm going to try it for a client I've had, but if that one for some reason isn't pulling up, I'll show you a different one. Let's see, okay, you're not showing me my client. Where is my client? Actually, let me do me a favor. I'm going to log out real quick on this one and log into my team leads, because I'm actually set up on his account to receive some deals on there. So I'm actually hooked up to him. Okay, so if I go into contacts, and then I can just search. I believe it's just my own name. See, so a month ago, click on myself. And then over here, you see Madeline on the right side of the screen. These are all today at this time. Clark viewed this collection. I looked at that in Southlake, that in Carrollton, that in Dallas, that in Carrollton, and that's the property I had favorited in Coppell. I added all these as favorites. I started last night for some personal stuff and then added on that one as well. So this is completely built out. You can look in here, you can sort by the activity as well. If you're logging all of that in here for the contact, if you're logging your texts, your notes, maybe a calendar event, a phone call, you can do all of that. And you can even look by a certain date range as well. If you're logging like crazy in here and running all of your stuff in here, great reason to do so. You can see it 10/18. So it adds a couple in here at a time. You can see it added 4, 5. So it added 5 of the same one in here. So that's something that will be tweaked and fixed, I'm sure, at some point. See, it's got 1, 2. So it's got about 4 of these ones. And that may just be as I'm playing around, as a consumer does. But you can see all of that in here, which is really cool. That's one of my favorite features that's really built out now at this point. And then also, if they create their own saved search, Madeline, up here on the far right, you see we're on timeline right now. You can go to save searches. Let's see, I had created that one at one point, and then I also have used that one. And then on an agent side, if I want to make another search for them and say, Clark with pool, and then they can save them themselves if they don't feel comfortable doing that, you could create a search for them and just kind of have a neighborhood plugged in. If maybe they're out of town clients, they've talked to you about this, that, or the other, and you kind of have an idea of what they may like, what they may be looking into. You could at least try to put something in here, and that should show up on their app as well, so that they can see, even if there aren't any listings in this area with this criteria, based on what we talked about, here's kind of how I would look around too for you, Mr. or Mrs. Client. So anyway, I hope that answers your question there, Madeline. Definitely some good options in there as well for database. Let's see.
That's a good question. Oh yeah, Clark, I saw at 10 o'clock you looked at 106 Spanish Moss. I was just seeing if, I have at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock today. You want to go check that out?
Yeah, actually, I'm available, and I've been missing being in front of people, Kyle. I can meet you at 3 o'clock. Does that work for you?
Oh, never mind. I just got a 3 o'clock from Madeline. Sorry.
Oh, dang.
But I like any of that that shows that if somebody's looking at something, I can just pop in, later that day. Hey,
Exactly.
it's easier lead generation than anything else.
And I love the app for the reason that MLS searches, auto searches are great, but it's kind of a lot of the time for me personally, it's the client saying, hey, I saw this property. Like, I'm not looking at the search every day personally because it's just one of those emails, just being truthful for me. I don't look at it a ton. So for, like we've talked about, what Gary has talked about, they don't want an agent all the time. They want information all the time on demand. They don't want you at X amount of time all the time. They want the ability to find information for themselves. And that's what we're trying to branch off of over the past maybe 30 years as realtors. Is it's not a book that I hold all the information on now. Times have changed. It's here's the info and I'm going to set you up for success and kind of be your tour guide along this journey of figuring it out. Deanne, feel free to unmute yourself just so I understand your question here about your bio. It should be pulling in from where you typed it in on the marketing profile in Command, but feel free to unmute and ask me. If you're there, Deanne, I'm trying to unmute you so that you can chat with us. It's not being nice. It's not letting me unmute you. We can connect offline as well, but her question was where the bio pulls from, as it doesn't match what she's typed into Command. So the bio for you should be pulling in from, I believe, your, oh, wrong screen. One sec, let me share my actual Google Chrome. Whenever you have something for your bio on Command, up on the top right up here where your photo and your name is, when you go into settings and then you go into your marketing profile settings, let's see, connect settings, marketing profile. When you're in here, this is where your bio should be pulling from to answer your question, Deanne. So this is what I have in here. Now I know like we all have our own bio on the KW white pages on my KW. That may be another area to look. Like I said, I'm still not 100% sure about where the hiccup is for you on there, but feel free to connect with me offline, either on Facebook or you can text me as well, 817-939-9855 right here. So anyway, as always, love talking with y'all and getting to impart a little knowledge on you. So yes, definitely I would recommend for your task before I see y'all on Tuesday next week, go ahead, play around with the consumer app, look around in that because you're going to want to know the how for when the KWLS is fully functional and you can do all of that because might as well go ahead and start playing with it now so that it's not something you have to learn two options. You know, you don't need to learn mobile and desktop. You got mobile down like a science. You can just learn the new thing on the desktop. And really on a real level, that is how I recommend all of you build on Command. You're not gonna play around with everything. You're not gonna learn everything. You're not gonna know everything right off the bat, but just implement something daily or weekly. And if it's based on suggestions in my classes, that's great. If it's something you're getting from Facebook or from another agent that you know, whatever it is, just learn something and then build on top of that. And as always, if you're trying to figure out the why for something, Clark, I see this applet, I see this feature. I want to know more about it, but first, why? I may have an answer for you, so feel free to reach out. So you'll have a great rest of your Thursday, a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see y'all on Tuesday. We'll be talking about insights, okay? So y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.